Yeah, baby, we're back.
We are back.
Look at all of this.
Look at all of this, and I know it's just a like the people listening on the podcast.
They're like, look at what?
What are you talking about?
They're staring at their windshields like, I don't see nothing.
That's not how podcasts work.
Yeah.
But no, you're listening to this on a Wednesday. But we're doing this as this is a Sunday brunch episode, a very special episode that we've been trying to put together for quite a while. But schedules, schedules are challenging.
Yeah. And I also want everyone to know, this has been a dream of mine from when we started this podcast.
Being in front of this food plate?
I was going to say, I can think of no better guest than cured meat, everyone.
Cured meat and cheeses.
We've got Serrano ham in front of me. I got some
you guys
blue
when
cheese.
I walked in, this is the nicest date I've ever been on.
I know. I know.
Not
Susannah
bad.
never brings out the meat.
Well,
Just the booze.
This is a double date, but Alexis and I are on a date.
yeah.
We nasty dates.
And this is me
double.
dressed up, by the way. I'm wearing a hoodie, if you're wondering. But the funny thing is, when we thought of having you guys on, and we've been trying to schedule this for a while, we thought, we watch your Instagram stories, and when the two of you go out, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like these two best friends who like played hooky in high school. The two of you are like giggling 24/7. You're doing all fun stuff, so we had to do it up big. We're doing a little brunch setting.
So this is exciting.
Perfect.
So and please, everyone, welcome to the show. The princesses of MLS. Do we want to say that?
Yes, yes, you can call us that.
That's fine.
That's perfect.
Susannah Collins, hello, and Jillian Sakovits.
Hey, guys.
I'm already eating, but
I got to get into this.
yeah,
Serrano
we got a
action.
beautiful brie. We got some blue cheese, so everyone knows we got some Grana Padano crisps. We got some little crackers, baby.
It's very good.
And we got
tried it.
mountain-aged Parmesan cheese. We got real Parmigiano Reggiano, baby.
My goodness.
This is gonna be people in their headphones. They just hear us chewing just thin meats.
And also because, by the way, how beautifully this sliced. It's almost translucent. Thank you very much. I have a guy at Murray's Cheese just for the meat. And by the way, we are at the Hackensack Meridian Health Stage 17, and because we are, this in our cups is just soda. Right, guys?
Yeah.
It is just soda.
Salute to you guys.
Salute.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you so much
Cheers
for being
to
here.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brunch. We
So-
brunchin'.
So you ladies have done some incredible content for MLS.
You have some cheese in your beard.
Oh, well, it's going to happen. I'm going to have a whole piece of meat under my
Keep an eye
hat.
on it for you.
Tell each
you.
other when you
Yeah.
have cheese in your beard.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's rude of you to say
come
on this date, Christian. How does it feel sort of having this sort of odd fan base of soccer fans, even though you two are obviously well-versed in soccer and know a ton of it, but you two are sort of like the funnest part of MLS content.
We are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the nicest
I would
thing
say that about
ever.
you guys way before
I
us.
know.
But
Well,
thank
I mean,
you.
we're not employed by.
We're not
Major
employed by
League
MLS. We ain't getting them paychecks.
But if we were,
Yeah.
then
We
yes,
don't get
we would.
paid in Garber bucks. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm happy it looks as fun as it is because honestly, we have a
know.
blast that sometimes we're like, wait a second.
This is our job.
I know. Are we going to get in trouble if we have this much fun? But no one has. At least no one shows they're having as much fun as you guys are, even though they're all having a great time. Where does that come from? Is that just who the two of you naturally are? Or is it a conscious decision to be like, yo, we're going to switch this
I
up?
have, like, since I started working in sports, like, my mentality has always been sports is fun, you
Yeah.
know? Like, sports is entertainment. It is meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyed. And not for a second do I take for granted the position that I'm in. You know, I literally get to watch soccer for a living, and they pay me actual dollars to do it.
Yeah.
And that is fun, and it makes me smile. And so, like, it just comes from a place of feeling very fortunate and loving sports so much. Being a sports fan, I think it's important to keep the fun at the focus.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we can take it a little too seriously.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Look at our dimensions on Twitter. At us.
Everybody's mad at us.
At me, baby.
People are, NYCFC fans are mad at us that we don't take it too seriously. Other teams are mad at us when we talk about other teams. Whatever.
Well,
Everyone be mad. We're just trying to make people laugh.
Let's go one at a time, right? Because, Susannah, you are the host of This Week in MLS, but you do, I mean, they have you do everything over at Major League Soccer. Like,
our goal is to be the twin moment of the week. Or
maybe this will be the
Well,
twin
now
moment.
that you know,
yeah. Are we bribing our way onto the show?
I might know some people.
Have some more cheese.
Yeah. Build that sodium up. We need to build everyone's yeah. More cola.
More soda.
Yeah.
So, Susannah, how long have you been with MLS, and how'd that get started?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I started, it was June of 2016, I started full-time. I was freelancing with them for a few months before that, but it was right when Copa America started.
Okay.
And I started because I'm a Liverpool fan, Liverpool
Okay.
FC.
Everton supporter.
Okay,
Interview
well,
over.
We're gonna sit and thought we were friends and not so much.
You've ruined this date.
It's over. Yeah, so I would tweet about Liverpool when they were playing, and the guy who was the head of video at MLS followed me on Twitter and literally slid into the DMs. I mean, that's how it happened. And he was like, "Hey, I see you tweet about Liverpool a lot. Are you a soccer fan? Would you ever be interested in working
It's very
for
millennial
MLS?"
of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
And I was like,
You got hired by
Right?
It Goes Down in the DMs?
no, totally. And then, so I was like, is this for real? So then
Yeah.
I you Google it and see his LinkedIn profile. I'm like, all right, dude's legit. So then
Yeah.
I responded. I said, yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of how it
Did you
started
show
with
up to your
MLS.
interview and it looked like this?
Not
It's like,
even
welcome.
close.
Yeah, that's
Not
beautiful.
even close. I mean, I would have taken the job on the spot had that been the case.
And Jillian, you came from a more specific sports background, because I've seen you in do either sideline reporting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like a reporter in Long Island, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
local here. I started here as an intern for News 12, which is in this tri-state area, and covered the Knicks, the Rangers, Yankees, and then also like Irvington High School or White Plains High School. So
Yeah.
all this stuff, and
Super exciting.
NYCFC started up. It is very exciting. No, but really though, like to Susannah's point about sports being fun, when I first heard about like where my internship would be, and this is going back like 8 years ago, I was like, I thought Knicks and Rangers. But honestly, I grew up playing soccer. I played soccer my whole life. Basketball, it wasn't very good, but you go to these games and it reminds you why you love to watch sports. That like sometimes I would have more fun at a high school game or a college game than say like a pro game, because if everyone's having a blast, which doesn't always happen at a
Absolutely
professional
true.
game,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
brings you back to why you love the sport. So yes, I was on like the local circuit here, having a great time. NYCFC came, Tommy Mack from Nyack, so we started dabbling in some NYCFC stuff. And it kind of rekindled my love for soccer, because once I got into broadcasting, I did not ever think, sports broadcasting, that I would get back into soccer.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
okay. You'd maybe mention MLS and they'd be like, oh, is that like the Red Bulls, or is that
Yeah.
NYC team's coming? And this is going back like 4 years ago. And just how far it's come from then to now. So then when opportunities arose at MLS, maybe just 6 months before Susannah got there, I was all about it, and it just spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two
Literally.
of you forged a bond that we all watch. It's like even the dumbest things you guys make sound awesome. Like the two of you like in a supermarket. And I'm like, man, I wish I was
that'd be-
following behind. You know?
Oh, God.
Well, you've done a couple of the series. I forgot what was it, the title of the series?
Beat the Pro.
Beat the Pro, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crossbar challenge.
And,
Yeah.
and you get to compete against each other with
Yeah.
either fans or another professional player.
First of all, so that series started and they brought me on maybe halfway through, and Jill was like, Susannah,
We have to have a meeting.
and she had this look in her eye, and I was like, is this a good meeting? She was like, oh yeah. And then we're like, what? We get to do the show together, which means
Yeah.
we get to go on the road together, and we get to do this amazing shoots with
We
these
got to do
great
5 of
players.
them?
I mean,
Oh.
it was like a dream come true.
Didn't the fans almost always win on that? Wasn't that like
Fans won twice.
twice?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was AJ De La Garza was on one of them. and
AJ
he's
lost.
Like, he's like, yeah, I'm a
And
defender.
Ike lost.
Yes.
It was
It was
AJ
our
and Ike.
defenders.
It's the defenders. They're like,
yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not supposed to do
Hit
this.
targets. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
AJ and Ike lost.
Is there any particular one? I saw the one with Dax McCarty. I remember that one.
a good
Is there anyone that stands out as one of your faves that people should go and watch?
I mean, the Felipe one was
Felipe.
Yeah.
amazing because he was so intense.
He
He
was
was
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
guy was
Serious.
out for blood.
Yeah, he was trying to draw red cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
He wrote on one of the fans' jerseys, he wrote, best day of your life, you lose, I win. And then
Wow.
he's just like this.
Felipe was Zlatan before Zlatan got
Totally.
here.
Yeah. He's Brazilian Zlatan.
Mini
Yeah,
Zlatan.
mini Zlatan. He also took you on a jet ski
Did
in the Hudson River, right?
Hudson
Which is
River.
like,
Yeah,
That's that radiation coming off.
Yeah.
Do you feel it? Is it emanating? Yeah, that was awesome. That's probably one of my favorite shoots I've ever done.
And he was
Really?
not gentle on that. When
No, he wasn't.
We got up to like 70 miles an hour on that thing.
That
and
is
I
hilarious.
I had this one moment where I was like, if I fell off and hit this water, like that's like instant death. And I was like, what a way to go.
Yeah,
You know?
It'd make for a great episode.
Open casket. They're like, I don't remember her having 3 eyes.
But
What happened?
if that did happen, and we know how New York newspapers are, where do you think in the newspaper would your death end up in the?
God.
Whole thing.
Whole thing. Last page.
I wouldn't let that happen.
MLS reporter. They're
No
like,
way.
huh?
What a cut! That would be some
in the
controversy.
sports, it would be in the sports.
In the sports.
It would be a little.
All right, well that's not too
section.
bad.
You also got to take Schweinsteiger shopping,
sure
which
did.
we talked about a little bit at All Star. I mean, how many people can say they've taken Bastian Schweinsteiger shopping?
It was surreal. It was such a surreal day. It was just bananas. Like we met him at Toyota Park, and he drove in his Mercedes. Of
course.
Hello.
Which for him is a regular car because he's German. That's
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, I don't drive
that.
foreigns.
Yeah. That was the only option. So we drove into the city, had like a lovely chat the whole time. He's so polite. He's so German. He's just like the quintessential German gent.
But you got him smiling and stuff,
it
which
was
we never see on the
fun.
field.
He's a really like friendly kind of goofy guy. And then when we were shopping, like he was like had really strong opinions on the clothes and like what he liked and didn't like.
Man.
Dude doesn't wear jeans. Just want everybody to, like
Okay.
you will
Well,
never
yeah.
see Bastian Schweinsteiger in denim.
Denim is too constricting for
I didn't
those
even know
calves.
people took a stance on
I
that.
know, but he does.
I'm also thinking, what else do you wear? Just trousers? You wear slacks?
I mean, his style game is on point.
He looks good. Yeah, he's a well-dressed man.
But he was
Silver fox,
He was
if you
so
will.
lovely. He was just a really, really nice guy. We had so much fun. I was really surprised, like how normal he was.
It was
And
a
the
good
dude's
one.
won a World Cup. Like he's won like everything. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
He's also one of those guys like, yes, I won a World Cup. So I don't wear jeans. Don't say it that way.
You don't have to bring it up every time.
Yeah. They asked you if you
We
wanted fries
know.
with that.
We know.
I know. Enough.
Jillian, now, just recently, you just started working with Atlanta United, right?
did.
You are the sideline reporter for Fox Sports Southeast.
It's Fox Sports South and then
South.
sometimes also on Fox Sports Southeast.
Okay.
Not
Now-
confusing at all.
No. And we always remember exactly which one it is before we
What do you guys just shift over a few feet? All right, now we're in the Southeast, baby.
Yeah.
Now this is exciting. I know it's exciting for you. I know
Yeah.
in Major League Soccer, Atlanta United was just such a huge shock and surprise, and the support has been wild. Now you're from here, and we knew you when you were
Yes.
here. But then, and now you're working with Kevin Egan, right? And Dan Gargan.
They're the best. Except for
Yeah. Second best ain't so bad. Dan?
second best.
So what's it been like being in front of those Atlanta United supporters? Like I know they give us a lot of love. I know they must do the same for you.
They are fantastic. When it was first announced, I really didn't know what to expect, and good, bad, and you expect, you're like, we'll see. They were so nice. They're so welcoming, and they're so positive. Like, someone would go online and tweet something and be like, oh, Jill did this one piece that I really enjoyed, and they uncovered something that, like, 1,000 people saw, like, 2 years ago in soccer. Like, they're so invested in the league. They're invested in the team, and they're all about positivity, which, as we know,
Not always the case.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not.
It's almost
and-
too much of it in soccer
and
and the fan base.
nor should it be, but when you're about to enter a stadium with 70,000 people, if they're all smiling and writing really nice things to you, it's not such a bad feeling.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
But they
I
have
can
high
imagine the opposite.
They have high expectations now
As they
because
should.
of what this team did and what this team expects from itself, and they hold us to the same standard. So I'm gonna try to not make you guys mad at me
Easy, guys.
because they're the best.
Are you surprised? You were talking a little bit about when you started, you didn't expect soccer would be an option for you, and now you're happy you're back. We got a chance to go see what's going on in Atlanta in the new stadium. Just staring at the wall, that wall they have of just
It never
the
ends.
supporter section.
Yeah.
And just, there's a moment where you're sitting there and you're like, I remember walking through it with a camera, and I don't think we ever released the footage, but there's part of it where I'm like, I had to remind myself I'm in America. I had to remind myself, like, this is actually happening, and we're in the South. I never thought the South enjoyed anything that I would have liked.
It's
you know?
crazy. I was just watching some Champions League with a friend of mine who's from England, and he was asking me specifically about the Atlanta experience, and he was like, "Is it as loud?" He's like, "It looks like a European soccer game." And I was like, "No, it is. Like legitimately. Like that place is so bananas loud." And he asked me specific. He was like, why are they doing so well, like attendance wise? And I'm like, I think even they're surprised. I think even they like are kind of blown away by the amount of people that actually show up.
It's an underrated sports town, I think. I think sometimes, Miami,
that's their fault,
the
though.
South.
That's their fault because they haven't shown up for anybody.
Right, exactly.
You say,
I don't know where this came from.
This is what I mean. I was like, I don't know.
They're into it. They're super into it. And perfect example. Here's two things I had to do when I got to Atlanta. I had to go buy a $150 IFB because the thing that goes in your ear, it's usually like $1 and you plug it in. I couldn't hear a thing. So I had to call Katie Witham at Fox, and she told me there's these noise canceling ones, and I Amazoned them, and I'm like, I would pay $1,000 for these at this point.
Jill told me about these things. She's like, Susanna, they changed my
I invited
life.
her over. We were drinking wine, and I was like, Suze, buy these
like,
if you go to Atlanta.
so
Put it in, and you're like, ah! And she's like,
So that's an indication in itself because we've done live stuff at Seattle. I've done live stuff at Vancouver and during the playoffs, Toronto. I needed to go out and buy new equipment. And then the second thing is we have the A, B, C, and D block, the last segment that we do in our pregame show, which is a half hour. Dan Gargan and I cannot hear each other in the last thing. We're literally like this. We're like, and I'm like on the set, just screaming in his ear because he can't hear me.
You know when they do like the RNC and the DNC and they have those special microphones that are attached to their cheeks?
Yeah.
And they don't move because if you move slightly, you don't hear it because it only picks up one thing. It's so loud. That's you guys. You're like, thank you, Dan Gargan. Yeah,
Robots on TV.
You'll see.
Well, it is interesting just because like we were talking last week about just that shock and surprise like over either not only new markets but just like even plays themselves after this Zlatan goal that broke the internet. Well, like what I love last week the Chicago Fire were playing at Red Bull Arena and I was Alexander Katai scored that crazy goal.
Worldy.
But I love
Banger.
even the announcers were like, "What was that?
Who
like,
was that?
Who was that?"
How did he do that?
I think every year there's that thing in MLS. Maybe you are more aware of it, but where like people are delightfully being surprised with like, oh my, the league is growing so much that we're just like, oh, whoa, what was it? Like we're seeing it right in front of our eyes.
The quality on the pitch has improved so much. I mean, honestly, like even since the time I started, like I'm like, there is a lot of talented players that are
very
playing
much
in
so.
this league. And so there are moments like that, like the Katai goal, and you're like, that's a world-class goal.
Yeah.
That's
like,
a top 10 for Sports Center every time. It should be,
100%, and that is happening more and more in MLS. And that's, I mean, people are starting to be like, oh, hey, I see you, MLS.
Even what happened recently with Toronto, unfortunately losing, but taking Chivas to the brink.
Right.
That I was actually talking.
Won in Mexico.
They won in Mexico.
They won in Mexico.
They lost on aggregate after the penalties, but they won that game. And I was talking to someone today who's a massive Chivas fan from Guadalajara, and he was like, whoa. And he was like, yo, eso gringo. Like, yo, it's like, those white kids, they know how to play now. And he was saying it like, he's wearing an LAFC hat, by the way. This is a Mexican League fan. And he's like, Carlos Vela.
Carlos Vela.
He doesn't know LAFC as much. He just knows Carlos Vela plays for him and he loves Vela. But
Also,
he was
the hat's really cool.
The hat's dope. Yeah. And
not
it's just
bad.
the LA. And I'm like, you from LA? He's like, no, man. And I was like, yo, it's dope. But he was like, yo, he's like, these white people are coming, you know? Which is what everyone in Brooklyn said 10 years ago. And they were right. But there's this sort of feeling, there's like this, it's hard to sort of explain. When we started following MLS as religiously as we do now, it's probably right around the time NYCFC started. We're both NYCFC season ticket holders. But now there's like, it was sort of warm. And people are starting to ask questions about it. But I still had to like, oh, you go to New York games? Yeah, when is David Beckham playing the Red Bulls? And you're like, one, he's a member of a team and not anymore. And two, they don't do that. And we a different team. The Jake is
That is really what people said.
yeah, but now there's like this, like now it's foaming. Like it's starting to bubble over.
Yeah, I do enjoy that there's more passion. Like, so we were off air. We were talking about at the NYCFC training.
Yeah.
That you got to go to the new training center,
Super
which is
jelly.
cool.
Oh my God.
So
Now we sound like we're at brunch. We're like, girl, that was amazing.
cheers to
Did
that.
you? I am so jelly.
But this is what was fascinating. There were a lot of the media that participated in a training session, and this was weird to me. But like, I get it. Tina Servasio, who works for Fox,
the old Red Bull,
and she covers mainly Red Bull. I would
apparently
say.
not anymore.
Not anymore, but she was the Red Bull reporter.
Because she's full-time now at Fox.
Okay, so she's the sports reporter.
So she has to be
neutral.
She's even Steven to all New York
absolutely.
sports, which is different for her, I can imagine. Going from Knicks to continuing Red Bulls.
Yes, and what was fascinating and also like disappointing a little bit was just like some Red Bull fans being like
Red Bull Twitter.
Red Bull Twitter was like, Tina's dead to me. How could you do this to us?
Tina has to work, people.
Girls gotta make a living. Come
Can I
on
just tell you what
now.
happened to us? We're not going to name names, but there's one specific fan of NYCFC. We did an event in Atlanta, sold out. It was awesome. We actually opened a comedy festival with a live podcast. We had on Julian Gressel,
Bobby Boswell,
Brittany Arnold. Yeah, it was like awesome. It was a really cool.
I love Julian Gressel.
I love both.
It was
of those
awesome.
dudes.
Somebody gave them scarves, and they put one on each of us. So there's photos of us wearing Atlanta United scarves. They're not even like footy mom. They're like just straight up Atlanta. And people are like, how could you do this to us? You're supposed to be NYCFC fans. And we're like, we're entertainers. If I play a Boston Red Sox fan in a movie, you think my Yankee fan friends are going to be like, you could never come back to this deli. People got to relax.
Get a grip, you know? Come on.
Do you guys get that ever? I mean,
a little bit, yeah. I mean, like, especially the thing is,
you're so open
I
about being
work
from
for-
Chicago.
Yes,
too.
exactly. And I'm a legit Chicago homer, like admittedly, like, and I totally own that. That's fine. But you know, as a league, like I work for the league, I represent the league, and so I do stuff with every single team in the league, and I will always, like, inevitably, if I post something, like when I posted, I wore the cool LAFC hat.
Yeah.
Galaxy fans are like, but you like us better, right? Right? but
just tell us.
But the Galaxy is your team, right? It's like, yes, that's exactly right. It's just, you know, you give them a little like pat on the head, like,
get it.
okay, whatever you need, honey. Yeah.
But if you don't
You're
show
gonna get a
some
lot more now.
allegiance, I mean, yes.
Now you're like you're dying the wool Atlanta right now. You got no choice.
Yeah,
You
Jill's
will
in a
not
different-
see
Jill's
me
in a
this
different
year put
position.
on any other hat or jersey.
Not at all.
Unless it's for charity.
Like when Nashville comes out, or if Orlando sent you 1,000 pairs of their jersey or 1,000 jerseys, you'd have to like never admit you have them.
No,
You wouldn't acknowledge
I
it.
would have to go to a school where children wanted 1,000 jerseys, and I would have to hold something at that school.
Or you'd have to get a second one of those earpieces so you could not hear the booing of coming
No,
out.
I would never, ever do that. But to Susannah's point, like, when I wasn't just with Atlanta, because right now I'm half still working for MLS and
you
half
have
the
Atlanta.
time in Atlanta. And, you know, you want to show your fandom because that means that you're genuine and
Right.
you enjoy this and that. And, you know, I'll walk in and I'll have loved something that CJ Sapong did, right? But then the next day I'll be all about the Timbers and people will freak out.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, but I can appreciate
I know.
CJ's fantastic performance, and then I can also just kind of like the Timbers too, because the year I started, they went on to win cups, so they hold like a place in my heart. Because had they not
sure.
won cup, I probably wouldn't have a job.
That's
Yeah, so
fascinating.
thank you.
But I mean, even us, we were openly rooting for Toronto FC.
Of course.
And we were hoping
Honestly, I think
the
all
Red Bulls
of
did well in
MLS
Champions
should
League.
have
We're
been
not
cheering
Rebels
for
fans.
Toronto last night, for
It's
sure.
for the league. I don't understand how people don't see this. Like,
Yeah.
it's beneficial for the league for us to do well.
I think some fans know that, okay, sure, maybe a different fan base is a little jealous of what's going on in, per
Right.
se, Atlanta. But I think a true fan understands that, hey, if that's happening in Atlanta, that's going to spread. And that's going to happen more somewhere
Yeah.
else. So
Yeah.
people understand that is, some people
Some people.
understand that
Yeah.
it's good for the league when, like, a team is doing really well
Yep.
or a fan base is doing really
Yeah.
well. But
it's
then
the
just
ones who
step your
don't
game up.
understand it. The ones who don't understand it are super loud.
Very loud, and they like to get in the comments.
Yes.
and
And
they
they
seem to
like
have-
to get on the social media.
And they write in all
tell
caps.
tell you all about it.
And I'm pretty sure they all have
Caps
unlimited.
lock.
They got like unlimited data, all of them. They just do not stop posting.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you gotta go to work, dog?
Do you got a job?
Jillian, I did want to also ask before we wrap up. You do another cool thing with your series where you.
You guys are making me sound like I do, like
No,
I'm a lot
you do
cooler
cool
than I
stuff.
am.
Invite us.
This is how uncool I am. I'm gonna tell you. When we got your email about brunch, what did I call you and say yesterday?
Oh God.
What's brunch clothes?
What's brunch clothes? Oh yeah. She's like, what are you wearing? And I was like, I don't know, probably like a t-shirt and jeans, whatever.
I knew she would look cool and good. So this is our friendship. So
How
I
great
call
would
I'm
it be
like,
if she told you
Susanna, what's
t-shirt
brunch
and
clothes?
jeans? She walks in an evening gown.
She would never. She's
Hair
a
and
good
makeup.
friend.
We were like,
That's a bad friend. This is a good friend.
Yeah.
It's true.
But
it's true.
you do
Meanwhile,
that.
I wore a hoodie. He looks like a Dominican salsa dancer. Yeah.
I will
a
dance with
beautiful
anyone
one.
in here.
What were you saying?
The series that you do, where you focus
Beyond the Stance.
Beyond the Stands, and you focus
Such
on
a great series, by the way.
like some of my just favorite ones were the one you did with the Timbers was great. The one you did
love that one.
with the Gorilla FC,
Yeah.
the charity work.
Houston was great too.
Battling homelessness, and we got to go into a homeless village in Seattle.
It's an awesome concept.
I've loved it. I've loved to go talk to. So last year we focused on the supporters, and like here we are. You know, we're not bashing the supporter groups, but we'll say we do get some kind of loud fans at times. But I said, let's go in and show all the good that they do, because when we would go and hang with a supporter group, they'd be like, "Oh, but we do a soup kitchen on a Wednesday," and you'd be like, "What? I just thought you guys like went on Twitter and were at the games." Like I was
Like in between throwing sodas at
Totally.
the other. It's really nice.
it was
of you.
all my fault. I was totally naive to like what the true scope of what's all the good that these supporter groups did. So we said like, let's highlight it. So we did 8 supporter groups last year. Now this season, we just shot our first one with Matt Lamson in Minnesota. We're doing 8 foundations that players run themselves.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
very
So it's
cool.
taking a little shift this year. We'll make our way back to the supporters, but we had so many good ones last year. We decided to get players in the mix. What I loved about that is I'm a bit of a human interest storyteller. I like doing that kind of stuff, and to mix it with soccer was great, and have a little bit of fun while we're at it. So
Awesome.
it's
Yeah, I
been
like
really
to,
good.
I like to see them fighting each other. So if you guys could work on a show about that.
This one's about peace.
What are you guys hoping to do moving forward? Because I think for the fans, it's you guys come up with such great ideas, but there's not like a general track you run. Like, do you guys get a chance to pitch ideas? What would be like the
All the
perfect
time.
show for the two of you to do if you could pitch anything?
Oh my God, Jim.
Unlimited budget.
This
Yeah.
is to work right now. Can we do
Greg,
a show
listen
together
up.
this year?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello. We've been waiting.
Yeah, they're magnetic together. I don't know why you wouldn't do this.
I mean, I like me and Jill and a bottle of wine and just like.
We do have a wine sponsor now.
Yeah, we do. I know. We should work on this. And just like, I think like breaking down, we could like break down games, but then like just let it go into like crazy tangents. And I don't know. I feel like people would watch that.
It's
Yeah.
like an
What is
Andy
that,
Cohen
Drunk
show.
History?
Yeah. Yes,
Andy
exactly.
Cohen, yes. Anything like Bravo, I would do.
Completely. Like that would be ideal.
The Real Soccer Wives of the Real Housewives of MLS.
Yeah, breaking stuff down. We couldn't talk about people, but we would leave that out of the show.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
It would be
Maybe
great to just
beep
have
out.
all blocked up as you guys are talking.
Can you believe
Just-
that she did that?
Yeah.
Throwing shade at
Yeah.
Dom Dwyer or something.
Actually, it would be a great idea for the two of you guys to like interview the wags, the wives.
oh
and girlfriends.
yeah. I've
That's something.
actually I've
They're lovely.
pitched that before. No, but I'm hoping that we can do something, and at least maybe end of the season next season. But I
Yeah.
do have a fascination with the wives and girlfriends.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
Yes.
we keep saying like the purpose of our show is to like illuminate all the fun stuff that
Yeah.
even the players do. Like it help add value to what they do
Yeah.
because for a
Well,
long time
and
they
you
weren't
guys
getting
do a
paid
great
so
job.
great.
So I just shot an episode of my show BTW with Walker Zimmerman out in LA, and he took us to his house in Santa Monica where he lives, and like I met his wife, and like I got to see how his little life, his like beautiful little life that he has.
That's pretty
and,
dope.
and it was really, really cool. And he was like showing me around. I got the grand tour, and I was like, this, I love the idea of like humanizing the players, right? Because we know them as athletes. I love when you get the opportunity to see what they're just like as people. And it like those are the moments I think that MLS should do more of.
And that's what makes
Absolutely.
MLS like so unique because, for example, I loved covering the Knicks and the Rangers and all this business, but there was very few players you could go profile that 8 different New York papers and a couple sports networks hadn't already done.
yeah.
Even a rookie.
Yeah, there's so
Whereas
many
in
good
MLS,
stories.
There's a lot of good stories, and maybe they've been told, but someone who maybe doesn't watch soccer yet or just in this area would know about the Red Bulls or out in LA just knows a little bit about the Galaxy or LAFC. You have an opportunity to tell someone a story, and that gets people interested in the league. A perfect
100%,
example
of
would be
course.
like, we were watching 60 Minutes the other day, and I was with my dad, and they had Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks on.
Yeah, Greek freak.
He would never watch a Milwaukee NBA game.
Yeah, yeah.
But he watched the 20 minutes on him, and he was like, now during the playoffs, he's watching all this Giannis
He's
stuff.
more interested in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and it's the same thing in MLS. There's a lot of stories to tell, and I think that's what makes our job so
Yeah.
special. That then when we're chatting with someone, they're like, "Oh, who's that player?
Right.
Oh, he's from Germany. Oh, my grandparents are German. I want to watch that. I want to
Yeah.
learn about that guy, like Gressel or whoever." So that's what's awesome
Well,
about MLS.
And Alexis, to your point, yeah, like they're super open to ideas. So that's one of the reasons why our job is so great is because
awesome.
like there's really open to like if we're like, hey, we want to profile this guy or we want to do something kind of creative with this. For the most part, they really try to make it happen.
Well, you're both doing the soccer gods' work. I mean, that's what we're all trying.
Shining a light where it needs to be shined.
Soccer beacons.
Well, let
what we
everyone
are.
know where they can follow you, where they can keep track of both of your
How can they
careers.
watch all these awesome Instagram
Watch
stories?
our Instagram stories because
There's a mix
straight
of things.
fire.
Yeah, we run from coyotes.
Yeah.
We go hang out in my hometown and stalk my dad with a phone. She's met my parents. I haven't met hers yet.
Yes,
Oh,
I
boy.
know.
Oh,
boy.
It's
Okay.
gonna happen.
You had to bring that up over brunch?
Yeah, I know. God, it's
Guys, it's at
awkward.
the end of brunch. This is when you bring it up.
Cut her off, guys.
Awkward.
Can we cut her off with this
Awkward.
cola?
Well, Susannah Collins, Jillian Sakovits, thank you so much,
ladies.
uh,
Thanks,
for
guys.
being on the show and having brunch
And
with
being
us.
a part of the soccer community.
Yeah,
You guys are,
cheers to that.
You guys are my favorite addition.
Yay!